Hey, it's Amy Scott Grant, the spiritual ass kicker. And one question that comes up is, how do you define spirituality? And I know you guys search for stuff like this. You want to know these kinds of things because we're creepy. So we stalk you like that and find out what kind of things you're searching for. But how do you define spirituality? And in my experience, it's a very personal definition, right? I don't think anyone can tell you. And in fact, if you Google define spirituality, what comes up is personal search for meaning, right? So it is a very personal journey. Now, for some people, religion and spirituality are like married, right? Like sanctified. They are one and the same. But for a lot of us, especially seekers like you and me, they're totally different things. In fact, you may have even heard yourself say something like, well, I'm not really religious. I'm more of a spiritual person. But for someone who maybe defines that a different way, they could get a totally different meaning. Now, I consider myself to be an extremely spiritual person. I do not own a pair of Birkenstocks. I've never in my life smelled of patchouli. And yet, my spirituality is defined very differently than maybe how you might perceive New Age or something of that. Air quotes, I'm a big fan of, so I use those a lot. But if you want to figure out how you yourself will define spirituality, here are some questions that you can ask yourself and sit with the answers and see what comes up. Where do you tend to search for meaning? Like, what kinds of things do you find meaning in? And it could be music, it could be beauty, it could be the idea of an all-powerful, benevolent entity. You might find meaning in religious dogma and rituals. And I'm not knocking people that do that, but probably if you're on this video right here with me, probably not. In fact, if you're watching this right now, you probably grew up in a strong religion. Like I was raised Catholic. So you might have been raised Catholic or Mormon or Baptist, or a lot of the people that connect with me are sort of, like had that upbringing as a child. And at some point it became stifling and they just went, no, thank you. I'm just opting out, right? Like I want out of that religion. But then you still want to feel connected to spirit, connected to source, connected to other people. You like this idea that there's a universal consciousness, that a thread that runs through all of us. Maybe you're intrigued by the idea that we each came from a divine spark. So thus begins your quest for your own spirituality. And you're really the only one that can tell the answers to that. So another question that you might ask yourself is, where did you come from? What is the purpose of your life? What do you want to do? Like, not what do you want to do with your life, but like, what do you want to create? And what do you feel connects people together? If you feel that anything connects people together, what is inside of you, like at your core? These are all questions. I don't have like right answers for you. These are questions that can help you develop your own journey and your own terms for spirituality. So spirituality, in the most general sense, is a search for meaning. And meaning is going to be different for you than it is for me, than it is for anyone around us. And I think one of the best things that we can do is mind our own freaking business when it comes to meaning. In other words, you figure out what's important to you, what resonates with you, and you don't need to push anyone else on that. I'm not pushing you on what I believe. I share some of what I've learned on this amazing journey as an intuitive healer, and I help people get their blocks cleared, but I don't push my beliefs on them. And I don't appreciate anyone pushing theirs on me, as I'm sure you feel the same way, which is probably why you resonate with me, right? So I'm not telling you what's right and wrong, I'm showing you how to figure out what's truth for you. So whatever you believe, if it resonates with you, if it serves you, then I would say you were on the right path. And give that same respect to other people. All right, that's enough. I'm getting off my soapbox here, but hopefully I've given you some key questions that you can start to develop your own search for meaning, your own search for spirituality, and to make up your own rules and figure it out as you go along, because that's kind of one of the greatest freedoms you have in life is that you get to choose what you want to believe. All right, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.